Oh boy, this is a bit of a difference for this rambling review. We're going a bit different with this.
We watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory last week, and this week we watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
And now we're going to go over and reflect on every single one. Let's just say overall thoughts on, like, the Willy Wonka story as a whole. Like, just, like, the plot itself. Like, before we go comparing the movies.
I think it's kind of... I don't know. Like, I don't know the original... I basically only know Willy Wonka from the movies. I know nothing about the book except for, like, what you told me.
The books are weird!
Yeah,
like, literally, the sequel to this is literally called the Willy Wonka and the Great Glass Elevator. That one's about aliens, the president, and them finding the Fountain of Youth and having to reverse it. It's insane!
It's a little nuts.
And this is the most normal of Roald Dahl's books.
No. Yeah, it's definitely really wild, and it's interesting that it has like a kind of it does
it's
kind of
wild, so they got Gene Wilder.
So it's pretty nuts and crazy and zany, but okay, stop.
Also, can I just say it is hilarious how we watched the Willy Wonka one on October 1st, and in the movie, the factory visit takes place on October 1st.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Like, I'm like, what are the goddamn odds of that?
1 in 365, give or take.
Around there, but still, it's like,
Not
good
accounting
God.
for leap years.
It's like, good God, like, what the hell? So, ready to start comparing?
Yeah.
Alright, pre-factory. Where it's like Dreary Town, and what the hell, this chocolate race is the biggest thing in the planet.
I think both of them have their own advantages over the other. I can't say either of them is better. They just are both doing different things, and they each do those things really, really well.
Yeah.
The only thing I could say is that Willy Wonka has, like, weird song filler that doesn't always work.
The original songs.
Yeah, like the song with the, like
Candyman's
mom.
fine, I think.
Candyman is great. That's totally great.
That is on loop, right?
Yeah, I guess it just takes a little bit for it to restart.
Right. But yeah, Cheer Up Charlie, no one really likes that one.
Yeah, I didn't like that song at all.
What about I've Got a Golden Ticket?
That one is pretty fun.
Yeah, that one's alright.
Yeah, that one's
But
fun.
yeah, Cheer Up Charlie's the one that most fans are like on and off about on if that's just filler or not.
Yeah.
Like, you're not the only one that thinks Cheer Up Charlie's just a bit odd.
But what I like in Charlie is that they straight up are just like, yeah, Charlie's gonna get the ticket. Before anything happens, they're like, yeah, something very special's happening to him, and you know, like, okay, yeah, he's gonna get the ticket.
Yeah, but honestly, you know that
you know it, but they're not, like, they kind of, like, in Willy Wonka, they're kind of like, oh, is he gonna get it? No. Is he gonna get it? No.
I got off tobacco for this, Charlie.
But in Charlie, it's more like, is it this time? No. Is it this time? Like, you know he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
It's just, is it this time?
Yeah, and you're just, your hopes are raised up just as he is when you see the golden sheen.
Yeah.
I do... Which one do you think had the introduction of the kids better?
I don't know.
Relatability going for Augustus first. I think him eating the piece of the golden ticket and Charlie is just smart, and it's like, Yeah, you hide in a chocolate bar, someone's gonna do it.
I'll probably talk about this more later, but when we're talking about the kids specifically, but in general, I feel like in Charlie, like the kids feel more fleshed out.
Yeah, these kids, like Willy Wonka, it's like, do these kids really deserve this? And Charlie, it's like, they're trying to make you hate these kids.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally trying to make you hate these kids. Anything about, like, the Charlie's family? The grandmother in Charlie is hilarious.
I'll be honest, in Willy Wonka, I don't remember anybody but his mom and his uncle.
It's Grandpa.
Yeah, I don't remember any of the other three. I just remember there were 3 other ones.
Yeah.
But in Charlie, like,
I love grapes.
She's hilarious. And then the other, like,
I think there's someone at the door.
Yeah. What about his grandpa? His other grandpa?
Mark my words. The first kid who finds the golden ticket will be fat, fat, fat.
He's great.
Like he's the curmudgeon with a heart of gold. I think Josh Scorcher put it best.
Yeah,
I feel
they did a really good job at like making them
Yeah.
more interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And making them stand out.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I also just want to say, in Charlie, they did what I feel like they did a better job at making it feel like Charlie's life is kind of like.
That's nice. Charlie died of hypothermia.
He's a total nobody in the middle of this crappy house in the middle of winter, and make it feel like. Really
Meanwhile, in Willy, it's like everyone's just a jerk to him for some reason.
Yeah, like he still comes off as he's kind of a like it's like he's like the poor. In Willy Wonka, you definitely get the vibe that he's like the poor kid. But it's kind of like they almost like play it straight in Willy Wonka, and then in Charlie they just go over the top with it.
Which again, Tim Burton, of course, he's gonna do that.
Yeah.
Which I think works in the favor.
Yeah, I like it better in Charlie, but I think that it does.
So what do you think of the other stuff? Like what about the filler stuff in Willy Wonka? Like the computer being.
That I feel like it like the everybody like being like them.
The world
showing,
being
like,
completely obsessed with it.
Yeah, that I feel like is the biggest thing Willy Wonka has going for it in the first half, before the factory.
The teacher.
Like all of that is just okay.
This teacher can't count to.
The teacher
is
so awful. He's hilariously bad.
I know. It's like, good God, I want Charlie to get out of this damn life.
It's so funny. It's like, you should be fired. You're a terrible teacher.
Now that I think about it, I don't think that Charlie we didn't even see any type of school thing in Charlie.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, Willy Wonka, like, really showed, like, there's a world outside the town, and it's like, yeah, this is mostly just filler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the filler parts of Pre-Factory is actually fun. But I feel like the things that make these movies great are, like, behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Like we'll go over those later, but yeah, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, like people literally getting hurt in Willy Wonka. Like literally having scrapes and bruises that last till this day.
Oof.
Like seriously, it's weird. Like good God, what happened here? So, alright, anything else on Pre-Factory? Oh yeah, what about the Grandpa Joe being part of Willy Wonka's workforce in Charlie?
I think that was pretty.
Yeah, in Willy Wonka, he's like, okay, why were you picked? I guess you're just the most like energetic to go in, but like the Grandpa.
It just comes off. I think it comes off to me like it's just because he's Charlie's favorite.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in This is gonna get really confusing quickly. And Charlie's grandfather is like he wants to go in because he's been in there before. He wants to see what it's like one last time, and it's like you want to get him to get in before the golden ticket race even starts.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Do we want to talk about the intro to the factory where Gene Wilder literally screws with every single person in the cast? And also whatever the hell that song was?
That, like, honestly, that whole song, and then him saying, like, "Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello." That was, like, that was the one part of the movie that I, like, vividly remembered from like, when it first came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Johnny Depp brings an impression, but I think Gene Wilder, like, what do you think of Gene Wilder's introduction?
I thought it was pretty. I really liked
where
it.
Behind the scenes, he's literally screwing with everyone, making them think he's an old man,
cool.
and then doing that front flip.
Yeah, I think I'll just say, like, I'll probably go into more detail later when we're talking about Willy Wonka specifically. But I think Gene Wilder did an outstanding job at doing the Willy Wonka, at doing a certain type of Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
I like the Willy Wonka that they wrote in Charlie better.
Yes.
Gene Wilder, I think, did his Willy Wonka maybe better than Johnny Depp did his, but I like Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka better from a writing standpoint.
I'll be honest, yes, and the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka is closer to the book as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're getting, like, the adaptation and the book. Like, it is... And it's because of you having completely, like, those conflicting opinions, which is why I love seeing people, like, reflect on these two, like, comparing these two. It's like, everyone's split on which one of these is better, and I love it for it. Alright, let's start off. Alright, the first kid, Augustus. The one in Charlie's a goddamn champion? Literally behind the scenes, he didn't know a speck of English, but he learned it for the role, and he had a fear of water.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell do I even say about that?
That man is a legend.
Yeah, that kid's a legend.
And I gotta say, like, the scene where he's just eating stuff like crazy, I was, like, actually starting to feel sick. That was really well done.
Yeah, Charlie I think Charlie gets the Augustus part way better.
Yeah, I feel like it gets most of the kids better.
Yeah.
But...
So, for the Augustus part entirely... What'd you think of the contrast? Like in Charlie, we get like the Loompa Land segment, and in Willy we get the Pure Imagination song. What do you think of those two contrasts? Like, it is a big contrast there.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know. I feel like that's like a general. It's almost like a general. That's like a big thing that I feel like is a difference between the two and like what their strengths are. I feel like Willy Wonka has a strength in just being zany and weird and like just being like, this is a crazy place.
They both have a bajillion memes that could be made out of these two, though.
While Charlie, I feel like, although it's still very weird, it also, like, I feel like it tells a more nuanced story with it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Loompa Land a lot of people are angry that they actually show Loompa Land in the remake. being like, why didn't you just keep it to imagination?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that is a common complaint. I do like the show don't tell rule, but it's like, there's no real option there.
But I think that also kind of shows.
Actually, now that I think about it, the Oompa Loompas, just the Oompa Loompas in general, which one, like Deep Roy versus all the actors from Willy, which one do you think did a better job as the Oompa Loompas? Like just in general at the moment.
I don't know if I could say either of them was better per se. It felt like in Willy Wonka they were just kind of more in the background, but I felt like it worked perfectly fine. And then in Charlie they were more
Up front,
and I feel like that worked for that movie too.
Yeah.
So and I don't think either one's
Again, that's why I love
just
comparing these two. Like, it's really hard to choose these sometimes. Speaking of the songs, the Augustus Gloop songs.
I felt like Willy Wonka kind of like felt more like children's parable-esque.
Yeah.
While Charlie was more like a Hollywood movie. Which
Though the funny part is the Charlie ones are ripped straight from the book.
Yeah.
Like, literally all the main kids songs are ripped straight from the book.
And I think they both work pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, I like both of them.
Alright. Anything else on the Augustus segment? Tunnel? What the hell is up with the Willy Wonka one? It has been a question on every kid's mind, like, oh, what's that? Gene Wilder used to do horror? Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, that was just like I feel like it was just weird, and I feel like that's like the biggest. That's what made me realize this is the like Willy Wonka is the weird sane one, and that's like part of the appeal of that movie is just it's a weird movie.
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest scene where it's just like there is no explanation for this. It's just a weird scene.
You know, like a chicken getting its head cut off randomly in the cave in the tunnel sequence. Like, what the hell? Also, I like how in the pre-factory stuff we didn't even mention the Slugworth subplot in the Willy.
Oh yeah.
Like, wow.
That was actually really clever, by the way.
Yeah.
Although
we'll get to that
I
later,
honestly
though.
wonder, like, well, I guess, like, now that I know what I know about him, it's, like, it makes, like, when I was watching the scenes, I was like, how in the world is he just always there when the Willy Wonka when they find the Willy Wonka ticket? And the fact
it's one of the
yeah.
The Slugworth thing is one of the biggest arguments about the Willy Wonka planned all this part, his theory.
Like, yeah, it definitely feels like this was planned.
Yeah.
Willy Wonka knew where the ticket would end up.
Yeah.
And they had him follow it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it screams that theory. What do you think of that theory before we go any further? Like the Willy Wonka planned this theory.
I 100% think that's the case.
Yeah, on both of them. Mm-hmm. They even call him out on it in Charlie.
I do want to talk about that when we get to the Willy Wonka section, though.
Alright. Violet Beauregard? Gum-chewing champion?
You're turning violet! I will say, I think it was kind of neat I think it was pretty neat in Willy Wonka that, like, she had, like, her friend that she specifically had her friends that she beat.
Yeah.
was kind of a cool touch to it that they didn't have in Charlie.
Meanwhile, in Charlie, it's more like the soccer mom's the
Yeah.
villainous part, not Violet herself.
Yeah,
Like, Violet's
her
more
mom
being
is
pushed by the parent instead.
Her mom is hilarious.
Yeah.
But they both, like those are, like, Violet in both movies is one of those characters that just really stands out.
Yeah.
Like, just like the
Yeah.
thing is just classic.
Yeah, it's
just
like
a classic
it's like
thing.
definitely one of those where it's like both of them are like chewing's fine, but not that much. That's excessive.
Yeah. And then she turns into a blueberry.
Meanwhile, in Charlie, it's via CGI, and in Willy, they literally just shone a blue light on her. I'm not kidding. That's literally a blue light that they're shining on her. And she just wears a fat suit. But meanwhile, like Willy's Willy is toned down a bit, and Charlie, it's like she's huge. What do you think of that change? Like oddly enough, the Charlie one's the more zany of the two.
Yeah.
Also, I think the inventing room looks a lot better in Charlie. Meanwhile, in Willy Wonka, it's like, okay, hello, health violations all over the goddamn place.
Violation!
How are these Oompa Loompas not dead?
They're very, 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 very careful. Frog?
Alright.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything else on the Violet part?
I don't think so.
Alright. So this segment was changed a lot. We have the... First off, before we go into the next kid... Willy Wonka exclusive fizzy lifting drinks room.
That scene is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And, like, I like it as, like, Willy Wonka kind of uses it as, like, a little test.
Yeah, for them.
Yeah. But it's also, like, it's a little bit, like
where the grandpa's like, hey, let's do it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, kid, no one's watching, let's do something illegal.
Yeah, it is kind of odd where it's like where it's the grandpa doing it, and it's like you literally have seen the other kids doing stuff where Willy has said, "Don't do this." Yeah. Hey, let's do it, Charlie.
It's weird, and I'm not sure I like it.
Yeah, the fizzy lifting drink seems a bit like odd.
Yeah. I think I'm happy with it not being in the Charlie.
Yeah. Veruca Salt. I think this bratty child's done great in both. Perfect casting for both as well. Like, you can tell the kids are having a ball just being this arrogant, stuck-up character. Both movies.
And just like
this spoiled child that gets everything she wants.
It's like they do different, like they come at it from like two different angles, the two slightly different angles, and they both do it so, like I was when I was watching Charlie earlier today, I was watching her, and I'm like, I wish they had her do it's like sitting in the chair, because it's just her sitting in the chair was like such a perfect visual.
Oh yeah, random.
But then she, like, her totally fake smile.
Yeah.
Like, totally
Daddy,
made up
I want another pony.
Like, I'm just like, they both do so well.
Yeah.
She's probably like the best one.
I Want It Now is a bit of a weird filler song in Willy, though.
Yeah,
I know. It's like kind of forgettable, but it is there. Like, Veruca has the song. And it's like, does anyone like, I barely remember the song, and it's like, oh yeah, you exist. Like, the filler songs in Willy's a bit weird.
Yeah.
I also do like how in both movies the parents are also to blame for the spoiled children. Like,
Yeah.
it's both their faults.
They're just. I think that's the case in Charlie, and you can kind of see it, but it's a little bit. You have to kind of look between the lines a little bit
Yeah.
to see it. It's a lot more blatant in Willy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which kind of fits. It kind of fits with the little bit more children's parable vibe it's
Yeah.
going for.
Yeah. But yeah, Veruca's probably like one of the best ones of both movies.
Mm.
Like, she's a character where it's like, yep, if I'm thinking of a bratty kid, I'm thinking of this character. So, now for the one that was changed the most in between the remake and the original, Mike TV.
Okay, him being.
This one's weird.
Okay, him him turning into like violent video gamer was pretty funny.
It's a perfect like modernization of the character.
Yeah.
And also the fact that he literally hacked the system to figure out where the chocolate bar was. Where it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
And it does explain why he got it with just one chocolate bar too.
Yeah.
It's like because he just gamed the system.
Yeah. And he was like, I want to. I hate chocolate. Like, he just wanted to win the prize. He doesn't care about the chocolate.
Yeah.
He's pretty much sort of a villain in Charlie, where he's like the most antagonistic of the kids towards Willy.
He's like, you're stupid. I'm going to you. And it's like he basically is just like, you have like, he's like, you have like all these great ideas and you're wasting them on candy. What a dummy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very antagonistic in Charlie. I do like the fact that we don't literally see the million pieces thing like in Willy.
Yeah,
that's
kind
like
of weird.
What the hell?
Although I feel like it kind of fits in with the like Willy Wonka feels a bit more like it's
Kids
straight up
movie.
a kids movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it fits with that.
Yeah.
It fits in that one just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I think the modern Mike TV is a bit better of a character.
Yeah.
Like,
and I also want to say it was really fun. Like them turning the monolith into the chocolate was a really
yeah, that was
That's
hilarious for 2001. And the funny part is, it starts off as the same color as the monolith, where it's like, was it a chocolate bar the whole time in 2001? You don't know. Like, that would... And the fact that Oompa Loompa sequence is literally, like, all movie and, like, music video and TV show references. Like, there's, like, Psycho, the...
Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, it's like... That song is probably the best one of both of these movies, I'll be honest. That's the one I go back to the most to list. Just like I remember just playing that song over and over again as a kid.
Yeah, it's pretty legit.
So now they get very different.
Yep.
But first off, let's go over Charlie. Which Charlie do you want to start with?
Let's talk about Willy Wonka's Charlie.
Yeah, that's...
He's... Honestly, in both movies, Charlie is he's around a lot in the beginning of the movie, and then he just kind of takes a back seat for a while.
Which is... That's the main reason why they changed the name in the Willy Wonka version, because Charlie kind of takes a back seat and Willy Wonka's the star of the show.
Yeah.
That was the reason they changed the name. And
funny enough, even in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it still feels like
it actually is really freaking weird how many people have realized that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is more about Charlie, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is more about Willy.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
Like, it's really freaking weird how that ended up, but Charlie's a bit more of like a bit more of a downer kid in Willy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like in Charlie, it's like he's trying his best to get by with what he has, and in like Willy Wonka, he's like, don't expect me to have it. I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Don't expect me because it's not. And it's like, okay.
It's like Grandpa Joe is like the only reason. Grandpa Joe is really the reason he ended up getting it, because he wouldn't have tried that many times.
Yeah.
Charlie, I spent my tobacco money on another
That's
chocolate.
stupid. It made a lot more sense in Charlie, where it's like I've been saving this one. I've been saving this piece. Go get one. We're gonna try one more time. Anything else on Charlie?
I feel like he's a bit more, like, I do feel like he's a little bit more nuanced than Charlie.
Yeah.
A
lot of people have made like he's a saint parallels in Charlie, where he's like, he could do no wrong, kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. Like he can't, like he doesn't really have a character. Like he's already, like the Willy Wonka is the one who has a character. Like Charlie is like there to advance Willy Wonka's character.
Yeah. Alright. Anything else on Charlie?
I think that's a good way to lead into Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Gene Wilder? The legend?
Wilder, he does an incredible job of doing this
Yeah, we have two
genius,
very different Willy
Wonkas.
Wonkas.
Like he's like a genius. He's super charismatic and clever.
Secretly a super criminal, I feel. Like, I swear to God,
yeah,
this is just like a few drops of blood from being a Saw movie.
Honestly, my biggest issue with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is Willy Wonka. It feels like Willy Wonka was he feels like he's low-key a villain, and the fact that there was never a payoff for it makes me feel like that wasn't entirely intentional.
Help! Police! The suspense is killing me. I hope it lasts.
It honestly feels like he's honestly, like, in both cases, it feels like they're like kind of playing God in a way.
Yeah.
But the fact that they don't acknowledge that in Willy Wonka makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
While in Charlie, it feels like
it feels like Willy Wonka's like setting bait, and the kids are just going for it.
And he also, like, in Willy Wonka, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka is way more awkward.
Yeah.
He's way more awkward.
Which fits with the isolation part.
It feels like Gene Wilder is extremely entertaining and fun, but I feel like as a character, he's not that interesting. Like, his character isn't that interesting. He's just a really fun character to watch.
Yeah.
But the Willy Wonka and Charlie is like a pretty nuanced and fleshed out character.
Yeah. So let's go over those endings. Because this is when the remakes change very drastically. So the entire Slugworth test of Willy
that was kind of big brain. Whoa, that's pretty neat moment for me. I was like, oh, that's really clever. That was really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna be really freaking weird to these kids. We're gonna see if he takes the bait.
Yeah, but like it definitely feels like he thought out he thought out a bit more than Charlie's Willy Wonka how to make sure that this was a kid who was actually like worthy of the factory.
Yeah. It is kind of random.
Because the Charlie one is just like.
I do find the slug
I'm gonna just pick
weird.
5. We're just gonna end up with 5, and whichever one's the least awful, that's good enough.
Yeah, he even mentions at least rotten, like not best, least rotten. Like a lot of people.
Just lucky him, he ended up with Charlie, who's a freaking saint.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do find the Slugworth thing a bit weird. Like, I do find that a bit odd. Like, I'm not sure how to explain that part. I think the glass elevator sequence in both is like, it's like, oh my god, you're gonna kill us.
Yeah, that's pretty. The glass elevator scene is excellent.
Willy and Charlie running into the glass elevator.
Okay, that joke is pretty hilarious, actually.
It's like, yeah, it'd probably happen.
It's like the first time I was like, that's really funny. And then I did it again, and I'm like, you know it's a good joke when they can pull it off twice and it's actually funny both times. And I'm glad they only did it twice, because if they did it a third time, it probably would have gotten old.
Alright. Anything else on the Willy Wonka?
No, I don't think so.
So, how about that backstory?
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit, actually.
Yeah?
Like, it's kind of hammy, and it's kind of hammy and silly and
it is the part,
but it fits with the rest
literally,
of the movie.
that backstory is what makes or breaks the remake for most fans.
Yeah. I could definitely see why some people wouldn't like it, because it's really silly and over the top.
And also takes over the ending.
Yeah. But I just like how, like the Willy Wonka ending, I got to the end and I was like...
Oh, this is it?
I was kind of like, oh, that's it? That was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like, really abrupt by the end.
Yeah, and honestly, I was like...
Like, it's like, glass elevator!
And
credits, done.
And kind of like that feeling, that, like, Willy Wonka's kind of playing God. I'm kind of like...
Yeah.
Like, it almost feels like I'm like, is this really that good of an ending?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they wanted you to think, oh, he got his happy ending, and I'm like, but did he?
Yeah, it's like your family can just come live in my factory. I'm too old for it. Here's your factory. Have fun with all the paperwork. It's like, okay.
Okay, that's. I mean, it kind of like it feels like kid parable kind of thing.
It
like,
honestly feels like in the Willy
Wonka.
Wonka, it feels rushed. I'm like, wow, the ending's that short.
Yeah, it does feel kind of weird.
It's just like glass elevator. How'd you like the factory? I liked it. It's yours now. Bye. If you want a view.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Just ended right then and there.
And then I think it's also cool in Charlie because they actually it's cool that they actually almost take like your expectations from the first movie where it's like
I can bring my family, right? And it's like, of course not.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, we're going a completely different direction with this now.
Which is where every fan make or breaks the remake again.
I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But Yeah.
I do see fans' complaints where it's like it's not really necessary. Like it's not like okay, you added this backstory specifically so you could change up the ending a bit. I do see fans' relations to that. I don't see it.
But I feel like from the beginning, you can tell something's up with Willy Wonka. So you could tell, like pretty much just like as soon as you're like walking, like as soon as you have like that first.
Good morning, Starshine.
Well, even like from there,
Dad?
you could tell he's
Papa?
kind of you could tell he's awkward and weird. But like once you have like that first like
Dad?
flash, yeah,
Papa?
yeah, like from that moment it's like, oh,
this is gonna
this is gonna be really different, and you can kind of tell there's more. We're going to do more with Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Like there's more to Willy Wonka in this movie than just he's teaching the kids the lesson, basically.
Yeah.
Like he's teaching the kids a lesson, but it kind of feels like it feels more like an awkward human teaching kids a lesson, and it being kind of
than a literal psychopath a few blades away from killing the kids.
Yeah, like it honestly feels less uncomfortable that he's like almost putting these kids in mortal danger, because because it does not play him as being totally good. It's very open with the fact that there's something wrong with this guy.
Yeah, meanwhile in Charlie, though, you actually see, like, Willy Wonka being like, please do not do this. Like, he tries to stop the kids on multiple occasions where it's like, tomato soup! That's good, spit it out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Willy Wonka.
Again,
he kind of does that, but it feels more like he's like, yeah, I know you're not gonna do this, but yeah, you should probably not do that.
Stop! No,
he's
come back.
No, stop! Don't do that. He's gonna do it.
Stop! No, come back. Help! Police.
Like he's doing it like almost as a joke, like yeah. You see, he's screwed.
Meanwhile, Johnny Depp's like, please don't. Let's not. Like, I know this is going to happen, but I still don't want to see it completely.
Yeah. And then like the ending with Willy Wonka, ending and Charlie with Willy and Charlie like both kind of co-owning the factory.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a cooler. I like that better.
I feel like that's what's implied in Willy Wonka, that Willy's going to do it for a few years just to help Charlie get it running, and then just probably retire or something. But yeah, in Charlie, it's like they're co-owning until Charlie gets old enough. Like, it's pretty good. So let's go over final thoughts. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
I like the movie as like it's an experience. It's one of those movies that's like an experience that you watch with your friends because it's weird. It's almost, it feels like like what I hear people talk about what they really like for watching like campy horror movies, because you watch them with your friends so that you can all have an experience.
Guys, don't go in the car. You're gonna get killed.
Yeah, it's like you have like a weird experience with your friends, and that's the type of movie it is, and I think it does a very good job of that.
Yeah, and also Willy Wonka is just super nostalgic for a bunch of people.
And Gene Wilder does an outstanding job as well of just portraying a really entertaining character.
And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
I think Charlie and the Chocolate Factory feels like I think I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory better. Personally, it feels like it's a.
I feel like I'm on and off.
It feels like it's a complete story. Like honestly, Willy Wonka, it feels like there isn't like a real driving character arc to it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, there's a mystery, and then a bunch of weird stuff happens, and then Charlie wins.
Yeah. Yeah, looking through this critically, it's like, yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the more, like, full experience. It's like, it also doesn't have the filler that weighs Willy Wonka down.
Yeah, I feel like Charlie is more consistently solid all around, but Willy Wonka is definitely still a really great experience.
Yeah, both of them are great.
I would definitely recommend Willy Wonka as like a movie to watch with your friends because it is a trip.
Yeah.
But I personally think Charlie the Chocolate Factory is a little bit of a better movie overall.
Yeah, I would say, taking off my nostalgia goggles, I would say that Charlie is the better movie, but Willy Wonka still is not, like, that much lower.
Like, I would say, like, Charlie is, like, an A-, and then Willy Wonka's, like, a B+. Like, they're very close.
Like, they're, like, a point off.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I feel like they're, like, a point off from each other. So, yeah, these two are great movies. Go watch them if you haven't already. And if you have watched,
that you spoiled the entire movie.
And if you haven't watched, and if you have watched them, watch them again. You're gonna see some. And also watch it with like a behind the scenes thing where it's like, wow.
Yeah, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff in this is incredible. I just like watching Charlie. I was like kind of expecting like a whole bunch of. I was kind of afraid that there was gonna be like a bunch of CGI stuff.
And no, it's like squirrels are real.
Yeah, but they use like a whole bunch of like real practical effects, and it looks really good even to this day.
And the funny part is, most people think it is CGI until you're like, that's actually real, and it's like, oh, that is real.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, Burton really tried his best to make the Charlie movie because the original book writer hated the original Wonka. Mostly because he was kicked out of, like, it's like, can we make your book into a movie? Sure. It's like, okay, we'll run everything and you sit back there.
So he got the
in name only, really.
You got the last Airbender treatment.
Pretty damn close.
It's just that it was actually a good movie.
Meanwhile, Charlie, it's like I believe it was either the wife of the bookmaker or the daughter of the bookmaker who was like really protective, and Burton Burton won it by making the bucket house like based off like Roald Dahl's writing shed, and she was like, that's literally what Roald Dahl actually planned on that being. I'm gonna allow you to try this. So yeah, Charlie is a more faithful thing. The only difference with the Charlie one is the Wonka backstory.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the only thing that's not in the book in Charlie is the Wonka backstory.
Which I feel like, honestly, that's... Like, I honestly really like the Wonka backstory because it kind of gives... I feel like it kind of gives extra...
Yeah. It got approval from the family of the person who was very protective on the ride, so it was like... Yeah, the behind-the-scenes stuff on both of these are, like, really cool to hear about. Like, I would definitely recommend, like, looking through a behind-the-scenes guide to these things. And also the fact that a lot of people got hurt on the Willy Wonka set. Like people got scraped by the fake rocks. That one, like vehicle that they ride at one point That's soap? Here's a hint. Don't cover your body in soap. Like, do not cover your body in, like, soap suds. It's not a good idea. Like, it's like, yeah, this is from the 70s, and they picked the 70s mistakes. Like, but yeah, I do love both of these.
Yeah, they're both great movies.
Yeah. So that it then?
Yeah, I think that's about all we have to say.
Alright. So, we're both under the mindset that Charlie is the better one, but Willy's not that far under.
Right.
Like Charlie is there for the story, Wonka's there for the weirdness.
Yeah, and I would not blame anyone if they said they think Willy Wonka's a better movie. I'd be like, I totally respect that.
Again,
opinion.
that's why I love comparing these two. Everyone has a different opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why I love these remakes. It's that's why I love the original and the remake, where it's like, these are two movies that there's just no opinion between critics and people who watch it, like, which one's better. No one has a right opinion.
Yeah,
like,
they're just...
it is, I feel like this is one of the best movies to compare and contrast a remake to. Because you get two very different stories, but still very, like, diverse.
It almost feels a little bit like comparing the Lord of the Rings books to the Lord of the Rings movies, where it's like they're completely different. Like, they're different in a whole ton of ways, but they're both really, really good at the things that they do, and they both have their own strengths.
Yeah.
I would not blame anyone preferring one or the other.
Also, to anyone, if you decide to watch the book, good freaking luck trying to figure out the weirdness. If you think these are weird movies, let's just say one of the Willy Wonka inventions in the book is a round candy that looks square. Good luck trying to figure that out.
My brain hurts.
Yeah, if you think Willy Wonka's weird, oh boy, you have not seen the book. So yeah, see you guys in the next Rambling Review.